This episode of Playing on a Budget is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 source of games and gaming accessories, and by GatheringMagic.com, the #1 source of Magic the Gathering news and articles. Hi there, this is Kevin with GatheringMagic.com, here with another match of Playing on a Budget, another deck that is. I'm sticking with the heroic theme. I really like heroic strategies a lot. This week I'm going to go for another Agent of Fate's Tormented Hero build. This one will be a black-red build, as you get the whole point of this is just to Dynacharge for the win very quickly, and it has cards like Young Pyromancer and Akroan Crusader that pump out the tokens to do so. Before we get into the deck tech, let's go over the prices. This is a very inexpensive deck. The only cards that are going to cost you money, the Blood Crypts, are around $11 a piece. And then we have the Agent of Fates, which are just $2. And that is basically, then you have a bunch of $1, $2 common, uncommon type cards like Tormented Hero, Rakdos Cackler, Young Pyromancer, and whatnot that you can easily pick up. If you've been collecting for a while, you probably have these cards lying around. So, and then in the sideboard, we do have some money cards. There's Dreadbore, which runs around $3, and Mizzium Mortars, which runs around $5. So it does put us under that $100 budget. The great thing about this deck is it's incredibly quick. Tormented Hero is amazing in this deck. So is Akroan Crusader. Both of these can pump out the damage quicker than most cards. Like these are both quicker than like Firefist Striker or any of the other red cards that if you could actually, to make this even a less budget deck, you could actually take out the Tormented Heroes and Agent of Fates and go for the Goblin creature. Let's see. You could chuck out these Tormented Heroes and let's see what it's called here. Founder's Shoot Denizen. Whenever another red creature enters the battlefield under your control, Founder's Shoot Denizen gets +1/+0 until it entered. So it might be better than going Rakdos Cackler Tormented Hero route, because this works very well with Young Pyromancer and with the Crusader. Because every time you cast a spell, he's going to actually be being pumped up. So first turn, maybe instead of a Cackler, if you run out of Founder's Shoot Denizen, and so we're going to try a build with Cacklers and without it, maybe. Again, you could go down to mono red, and then this gets very, very inexpensive because you cut out $40 from the Blood Crypts, and it makes the mana a little bit better because you don't have to run like Guildgates. And then if that's the case, you could go cards like Mutavault. So I'll probably try the mono red heroic strategy, or this one is going to be a little more flavorful with the Tormented Hero and the Age of Fates. I do believe it's worth it. So I think Cackler is actually a little bit better than the Founder's Shoot Denizen, just because if we do have a turn 1 swamp and no other land in our hand, like maybe a Rakdos Guildgate or something, we could actually just do a turn 1 Cackler. But Founder's Shoot Denizen is definitely a card to think about putting in this deck. So anyway, we got on our 1-drops, we have a ton of them. We have 12 1-drops with Rakdos Cackler, Tormented Hero, and Akroan Crusader. You're going to want to hit a 1-drop. And then we have the pump spells, which are Dynacharge, Titan Strength, and Coordinated Assault. All these are going to be... Coordinated Assault is so good because if you have like 2 Crusaders or 2 Tormented Heroes, it can target 2 of them. Dynacharge is really good. Like first turn, if you go first turn Akroan Crusader and second turn Dynacharge, that's not too bad because you're swinging for 4. Dynacharge is usually going to be your finisher, though. And maybe there's a better way to get Crusaders online. And again, maybe Crusaders should be maybe a 2 of and maybe 2 Founder's Shoot Denizens. I haven't tested this out too much, so it definitely has some tweaking to do before I think this deck is tournament ready. So anyway, then we also have a 2 of Madcap Skills. This is incredibly underrated in the format, as there is a ton of decks like green and blue decks that have absolutely no interaction with you. I mean, I think the Pro Tour winning deck only had 2 Cyclonic Rifts in it that can actually deal with kind of a Madcap Skills. Yes, they do get creatures out very quickly, but a lot of times you could go like first turn Tormented Hero into a second turn Madcap Skills. I've done this. I play a Rakdos aggro deck every once in a while. I've actually won a couple 8-mans already here on MTGO, and a lot of times there's no better draw than a first turn Tormented Hero into a second turn Madcap Skills. You get a do a damage from the heroic, so you're swinging for 6 turn 2. They're down to already a 14 on turn number 2. You've also got some pretty cool synergies in this deck with the Flames of the Firebrand and Agent of Fates. You can actually target your Agent of Fates just once with the Flames of Firebrand, do 2 damage to the various cards from your opponent's position, and then they have to sack a creature as well, and then you would get to so you'd get to trigger that off, make them sack, and you'd still be able to do 2 damage to them. So I mean, a lot of times it'd be like 2 damage to their face, target your Agent of Fates, make them sack their blocker, swing in for whatever. So very good synergy right here. I've thought about using some other cards like Scourge Mark, but I think that you want to have as many ways to get Young Pyromancer triggered as well. We have, as far as direct damage / removal, we have Lightning Strikes and Magma Jets. I do believe that they are the way to go. Again, if you were going to cut this down into a mono-red strategy, a mono-red kind of heroic strategy, another card that you could definitely go is, instead of Agent of Fates, you could go the Chandra's Phoenixes. So Chandra Phoenix is a 2/2 flying haste, and then cards like Magma Jet and Lightning Strikes will get it back. But then it really feels a lot like red deck wins and not really this heroic strategy. So this is a heroic strategy, so we're going to keep in the Agent of Fates, we're going to keep in the Tormented Heroes and the Akroan Crusaders, and try for this strategy. Onto the sideboard, Dreadbores are very important. This is one of the reasons why I think that Rakdos is a little bit better than Mono Red, is Dreadbores do have answer for cards like Desecration Demon, which are everywhere, or Polychronos, or any of the bigger green creatures that you have problems with, even like Loxodon and Smiter, that a lot of times they just are the biggest roadblocks for red deck wins to deal with. We also have Act of Treasons in here just to grab them. So I mean, again, you could be getting some aggressive draws, like a first turn Tormented Hero into a second turn Madcap Skills, swinging for 6, and the next turn they throw out in Loxodon and Smiters. You grab it, you're swinging for 9 that next damage. They're down to a 6, and then they're in an easy burn range when you top deck into these Lightning Strikes and Flames of the Firebrand. So that's why Act of Treason is in here. Very underrated card. Again, there's huge cards in here like Polychronos, or the 4/4 Hasty Dragon, or even Blood Baron Viscopa is in here. There's plenty of ways to, or plenty of creatures that I think are worth grabbing. Even like Boros Reckoner is worth grabbing. Speaking of Boros Reckoner, that is one of the main reasons that Dreadbore is in the sideboard. You don't want to be doing damage to it. You just want to be killing it. You want to be getting rid of that roadblock so you can be getting there for damage. A couple other cards I'm trying out with is Ordeal of Purphoros. It works very well in draft. I'm wondering how well it works in the standard. It has very great synergy with Rakdos Cackler because you already unleash it. So first turn unleash it, it's got a 1/1 counter, put Ordeals, you're swinging for 3, it's got 3 counters. The next turn you swing with it, it's going to be activated, do 3 damage, and you're going to be swinging it for 4 damage. So I'm definitely going to try that card out, see how it works. Mortars again are in here mainly for Loxodon and Smiter, and I've got a couple shocks in here for the early blue decks and early red deck wins decks. All in all, I think this is a very solid deck. I run a very similar deck with Rakdos Aggro. Instead of the Agent of Fates and all these pump spells, I am running more burn spells and cards like Lifebane Zombie. And it's been, like I said, I've won a couple 8-mans already with this deck, and I think that this heroic deck is gonna play very similarly. So again, I'm gonna stay with the heroic theme for a while. Probably next play on a budget, I'll probably do a red-white because I'm already starting to mess around with that. You can go 2 routes. You can go Madcap Skills or enchantment route with the heroic, or you could actually go like the Dynacharge Titan Strength type build there as well. So anyway, we'll be looking forward to that, but this week we'll be concentrating I will be concentrating on this black-red heroic strategy. I'll be playing a few games here in the 2-man queues. This is Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.